Now funding on Kickstarter a brand new set of Halloween mask pins, vintage style pins designed by me, Kneon. Check it out at halloween.ninja. That's halloween.ninja. All right, so a judge denied the preliminary injunction in a consumer lawsuit that's trying to block the merger. That is hurdle one. They haven't gotten to the state lawsuits yet. I guess that's starting today. But there was a consumer lawsuit. I think it was Paramount Plus subscribers that wanted to stop the merger, block the merger of Warner Brothers and Paramount, and it basically got hand-waved away. It's like you really don't have much of a leg to stand on. Not going to happen. Next, and the states are the big one, but we're going to talk about like what happens if this deal does not go through. If the deal does not go through, Plan B seems to be just disassemble Warner Brothers and sell it off in pieces.
Which is what I've been telling people. It's like, I don't know what you want. If Netflix doesn't get it and Paramount doesn't get it, then the next thing means it's going to be nobody's going to get it. It's going to be sold off in pieces, and there's going to be a bigger job loss.
Yeah, there is no scenario in which Hollywood walks away from this acting like it's the early 2000s again. It's not going to happen. And if you really look into it, all of these Hollywood studios have been subsidized for decades. I think most of them started getting gobbled up by corporations with more solvent business ventures back in the 1960s. Mm-hmm. And even as far as the whole tech oligarch thing goes, 2001, AOL bought Warner Brothers.
Yeah. And then, because they had sold it, and then AT&T got it.
AT&T, another tech company, got it. So none of these studios, with the exception of Disney, and I think I'm going to put a little asterisk there because Disney, most of their money comes from the theme parks and consumer products, but most of these movie studios cannot survive on their own. They need a sugar daddy to survive, and if Warner Brothers doesn't get one, then they'll just sell the assets off, right?
Well, this just means that the people that are the activist actors out there, you also need a sugar daddy to be getting all those ridiculous multi-million-dollar deals you get.
Yeah.
To survive.
So let's talk about all of this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Go out to more.clownfishtv.com. That's more.clownfishtv.com for more Clownfish TV episodes and podcasts you will not find anywhere else. Also, go out to Spotify and listen to the audio version of Clownfish TV if you want to listen to that. And if we sound a little rough today, my allergies are wrecking havoc with me because of this damn smoke.
Oh,
Canada.
It's terrible. They had to close down, like Kennywood shut down, Idlewild shut down.
Oh, it's awful outside.
A bunch of theme parks have shut down because the smoke is just, where we're at, it's basically you would need to wear a mask to go outside now, they're telling you, which I was already doing.
It's all coming from Canada. So blame Canada.
I mean, I feel bad for all those poor animals and all the forests that are getting burned and people that are in danger, though. So.
Oh yeah, I guess. I
do feel bad for that, but I'm also like, could you stop lighting yourself on fire?
Right. Like, what is this every year now? We have the annual burning of Canada.
To be fair, it's California too half the time. So
that is also true. Anyway, let's talk about burning. Let's talk about Hollywood burning. It's coming from Deadline. Judge denies a preliminary injunction. And again, this was the lead up to the big showdown, which is with the states. But this is a consumer saying that they don't want them to merge because they're not going to have as much choice.
That was the first one we heard about. Then we heard the state, and then there was one shareholder tried to do it too, and they're like, shareholders. It's one shareholder.
It's one shareholder, yeah. And so this is just people having a temper tantrum. Now, the state might trip them up. They're saying they still intend to close this deal by September. And I'm going to be honest, I think it was lubed up before any of the paperwork got signed. I think this is the outcome they wanted. This is the outcome Trump wanted. I think all of this, it's going to sail right on through.
To be fair, I thought it was kind of weird that at like the 11th hour, they got to come in and take it from Netflix after it was a done deal then too. And I said so. But somebody has to take it.
Yeah, Warner Brothers can't survive on its own. That's the truth of it. So a federal judge has denied a group of consumers a preliminary injunction to at least temporarily block Paramount's merger with Warner Brothers. The judge says she's taking Paramount's motion to dismiss the lawsuit under advisement. The lawsuit was filed in April, one of the early legal challenges to the merger. This week, attorneys from California
Yeah.
and 11 other states filed their own antitrust lawsuit. And the judge will take up their motion for a temporary restraining order at hearing on Friday. In her remarks, the judge said that consumers had failed to meet the threshold to order an immediate halt to the $110 billion merger. A preliminary injunction is an extraordinary remedy that may only be awarded upon a clear showing the plaintiff is entitled to such relief. Plaintiffs fail to meet that standard. Plaintiffs have not offered any evidence, and this has not made a clear showing of likelihood of success, nor have they made a clear showing of irreparable harm. Basically, if they merge, oh my God, guys, my HBO Max and Paramount bills are going to skyrocket. Actually, you probably could argue if they merge, they'll consolidate into one streaming service that you might pay a little bit more for, but overall, you're going to be better off.
You're not going to probably pay as much as you paid for two separately,
right?
And and they're going to argue it's the same with this is the same thing with the different states. Their main argument is, oh, it's going to cost people more. You didn't care. You didn't file, injunctions when Disney said they were going to raise their prices, or Warner Bros was going to raise HBO or whatever before. You did nothing then, and I think that's what they're going to look at. They're going to look at it and say, yeah, it's going to cost you more money, but it's been pretty much like clockwork every few months, and you didn't say anything then.
So this is coming from CNBC. They said if the states trip them up, they still plan on closing the merger by the end of September.
That's what their lawyer said, but that doesn't mean that they can't. That's just what his lawyer's saying.
No, I'm going to tell you the honest truth here is I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to sail through. I think they're going to find the way has been prepared, right? This is one of those things where you knew where they wanted it to go. I even said during the Netflix thing, I said they're making it awfully hard for Netflix to buy Warner Brothers because I think they want Paramount to have Warner Brothers.
Well, I'm sure that's right. I'm not going to say that's not the truth, because I think it might in some ways be. But I also know that I thought it was really weird last minute when Paramount could come in and take it. I thought that was already signed. But either way, they were mad about Netflix too. But either way, it's going to have to be sold to somebody. But what this is about, and I don't disagree that Trump hates CNN, and he probably would make it a little easier. His friends hate CNN. But this is about CNN, and that they're trying to put an injunction, because they know they're going to probably get it. They're just trying to put the injunction in place to hold CNN out so that they can get through the elections. That's what I honestly think this is all about.
And then on top of that, I mean, this is kind of crazy too. A couple of the networks did not run Trump's speech last night. Speaking of election interference and alleged election interference and all of that, people were noticing that ABC and NBC didn't run the speech, but CBS did.
But then they talked over it or something.
But then I noticed on the local news, or watching the local news last night, and they're like, oh yeah, Trump was going on about election stuff. And then they made sure to put a big disclaimer after that. They're like, just for the record, it's been disproven multiple times, especially here in the state of Pennsylvania, where nothing weird ever happens.
I worked that election.
Weird stuff was happening.
Anyway. I was just going to say, though, this is not, to be fair, though, again, this is my word today, is to be fair. They did the same thing to Biden. They also refused to run some of his stuff, too. And I don't think it's right, not to air speeches from a sitting president, but that's just me. Whether it be Biden or Trump, I don't think either one was okay.
So, yeah, this is going to be interesting. So this comes from, again, CNBC. They said Paramount Skydance is still aiming to close its acquisition of Warner Brothers by the end of September, despite a recent lawsuit filed by state attorneys. According to Jeffrey Kessler, their lead trial counselor, in an interview on Tuesday. On Monday, a group of state attorneys led by California's Rob Bonta filed a lawsuit, and I think that starts today. They start looking at today.
Yeah, they said they're going to listen to it today. It might even, by the time this video goes up, have it changed.
Yeah, well, it's going to take a while. I mean, this isn't something that's going to happen overnight, but they said the company strongly believes it's going to go through. Kessler told Faber on Tuesday the temporary restraining order came after Paramount indicated that its intention was to be able to close as early as July, when the company expects to have all regulatory clearances. The July date stems from the next big hurdle Paramount needs to clear. The European Union has been reviewing the deal for approval and set July 22nd as a deadline.
Actually, I have here that the judge is going to rule by July 22nd on this. Yeah, I have it here on deadline. Judge says she'll rule by next week on emergency motion for the states. This is on Deadline. They're saying that the judge overseeing the state attorney general challenge merger did not issue a ruling on an emergency motion to pause the transaction, but said that she would do so by July 22nd. It's that U.S. District Judge is a Roselia Martinez.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I'm going to butcher your name. AM.
That's why I wasn't saying her name, because I'm definitely
arguments
going to
from both sides in an 80-minute hearing in Oakland, and the states are seeking, which we know, and all that. So they basically just said that she's going to look into it more and give them an answer by the 22nd. So that's a few days from now. What day is that?
Yeah, so it'd be like
that's
Tuesday
next
or
Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like, look, it's they're prolonging the inevitable, because this is where it's going right here. So this is Kessler. Okay, he said, anyone who knows the entertainment industry right now knows it's in deep trouble. He added, noting widespread challenges as consumers flee pay TV bundles and competition among streaming giants like Netflix intensifies. Actually, Netflix posted a loss because people realizing.
I saw that.
Yeah. I mean, people are getting sick of all the streaming services too. I think there's too much. There's too much shit being shoveled. I think people are overwhelmed. Like, I've gone back to just watching like Roku or Tubi or whatever, friendly TV, whatever. It mimics old school TV with the guide, and you flip through the channels. I've gone back to that because when I have to sit down and think about picking something to watch on streaming, and I'm usually watching TV in the background anyway because I'm doing like 9 other things, I'm overwhelmed. So I'm like, fine, I just throw it on the Star Trek channel because I can listen to it. Yeah, because I already know this episode. If I miss part of it, that's okay. I know what happened. I can listen to it in the background or news or something like that, right? So I think people are getting burnt out on so many choices and how much it's costing every month. He said the merger would create a competitor that could go toe-to-toe with Netflix or Disney or Amazon Prime. And that's going to be where they're going to come out ahead, because they're going to say this is going to create a monopoly. And they're going to say, well, Netflix is bigger, Disney's bigger, Amazon's way bigger. There's 3. Do you want me to go down the list of all the other streaming services that are out there? And they're going to be like, just HBO and Paramount merging is not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. It really isn't, because both of those
really isn't.
No, because both of those companies aren't really producing enough on their own, and like Paramount Plus especially, there's not a whole lot on it. They're like, okay, Star Trek that nobody likes, and the Grease Pink Ladies thing that they took off because and they tried. Was that the one where they brought? No, that was NBC. I can't even keep track of it. They tried bringing Saved by the Bell back. They tried bringing Punky Brewster back. That was on NBC.
They keep trying to bring everything back, and it's that Fresh Prince and everything else. They've tried.
But they made it like super serious. They made it like oh my god. So we're gonna talk about that, because Plan B, the alternative, is Warner Brothers basically gets sold for scrap. And we've talked about this. There is no scenario in which Hollywood goes back to the way it was. And that's what these people, especially in Hollywood, these people seem to think like, well, if we stop this merger, there's going to be all kinds of jobs because everything's doing so great right now in Hollywood. I'm like, oh, yeah, most of your big tentpole movies, with the exception of a few, including, the Odyssey this weekend, most of them have failed miserably at the box office. There's no going back.
That's what I keep bringing up. It's like if Netflix doesn't buy it, and Paramount, because they were mad at Netflix, not to the level they're doing Paramount. Like they didn't have injunctions also like they're doing with Paramount. And this is all because of CNN. But if they don't buy it, either one of us buy it, Warner Brothers is done. Like, it's toast. I don't know what to tell you. You think it's gonna be bad if they roll together and there's still some jobs. There's gonna be none.
Yeah. That's it. And this is like, I don't know what the thought process is here. These people really think there's infinite money, and they don't understand, especially now that consumers just don't have it. They're choosing not to go see your movies. Warner Brothers has had a couple of huge misfires this year. Looking at you, Supergirl. They're not going to see the movies. Where do you think the money comes from? They don't have a big tech company backing them up anymore. AT&T was like shoveling money into the Warner Brothers furnace. Why do you think they got rid of Warner Brothers? Why? If Warner Brothers was so damn profitable, AT&T, one of the biggest tech companies, telecommunications companies in the world, was like, yep, it's too rich for my blood. We're tired of shoveling money into it, so we're going to bundle up all of our debt and lump it into Warner Brothers and Discovery, and off it goes. And rinse and repeat. And even if the Ellisons get it, there's a very good chance they keep it for a couple of years, bundle that all up, and sell it to somebody else.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's literally just an asset. I mean, that's...
Yeah. So let's see what Cosmic Book News says. They said, yeah, it would cease to exist. Now,
yes, told you.
According to Cosmic Book News, they have an insider telling them that it's not going to survive intact.
Yeah, an insider. I've been telling you.
Yeah.
So they're going to piecemeal it off, and that's exactly what they're going to do.
Well, they were already in the process of doing that. They were going to, I think, sell off their cable channels and
they
CNN
were spinning it into two different things. And originally they were going to keep both, but they were going to have one was going to be the Discovery thing and one was going to be something else. And that was probably to offload debt onto one and sell it or whatever. And that was what they were going to do. And then when Netflix came in, Netflix only wanted the Warner Brothers stuff or the HBO stuff, and that they didn't want the Discovery part. So that was okay with them because they were going to, spin that off and sell it anyway. So they were okay. And now Paramount wants all of it. So, but either way, they were going to have to restructure it to stay afloat anyway. And I guarantee they were keep what they want, sell what they don't. That's what they were going to do then.
So they said the comments came in a conversation about HBO Max's recent copyright strikes against Cosmic Book News' social channels, which was insane. I covered that. All they did was tweet about what they heard was going to happen in the first episode of Lanterns. Mm-hmm. There was no video footage. There's no audio from it. They just said, this is what we're hearing. This is a rumor. And they struck their social channels. They struck their YouTube channel. I mean,
I don't think that would hold up.
It would never hold up, but they do. Again, this is the same reason that they're filing these lawsuits. They know it's not going to work. Probably they're just trying to stall things out as long as they possibly can, hoping it's going to get tied up in court, because these court cases can take a long time, right? But not when there's as much money involved. It's going to be like, no, we're pushing this through as fast as possible. Like you said, they're probably trying to stall it out to get past the elections. And then they'll be like, okay, whatever, we'll let it go through. As if by magic, everything goes through. But yeah, I mean, this is a really bad look for Warner Brothers. And this shows how desperate they are, that they feel like they have to police YouTubers and bloggers for leaking content.
It also makes them look right. See also Kevin Smith.
Yeah, right. And turns out we were right. So there we go. It's a chaos on the lot and a lot of pain, or a plan in Washington.
There's pain in Washington.
There's pain in Washington every day. It's chaos over there. Projects are on hold, the insider says. That tracks with everything we've seen. Insiders describe open season on James Gunn's job. Oh, absolutely. Especially after Supergirl. Do you think they're going to... Do you honestly think they're going to keep this guy in charge? They're going to let him do his Superman 2 because it's already in production. And then after that, they're going to be like, yeah, we really got time. I mean, I could see them bringing him in for a couple of things here and there, but not letting him run it. There's no way in hell they should let him run it. So the Batman Part 2 just slid into February 2028, a day after. Yeah, so it's like a year later after I reported on the standoff over Gunn wanting his own Batman. The insider adds something that changes how you should read the week's biggest story. Ellison is meeting with both sides of the aisle for a national tax credit for film. And has to make concessions to the states. Still a process, but they feel confident the states will withdraw their lawsuits. So basically, we're going to pay the states off.
Well, I don't think they're going to do that. Well, they're working with that we're going to keep filming in the United States if you offer tax credits.
Yeah,
so the states will benefit, with jobs and stuff. So if you if you go after him, he's out there actively trying to do something about it. It's going to bite you all in the ass. So, I mean, the whole situation's a mess, but it never makes sense to me. Like, you hear about voting against your own interests. This is a prime example of people, acting against their own interests.
So this is interesting. The California Attorney General is basically like, oh, yeah, we'd break up Warner Brothers. A divestiture.
So that's what he's admitting.
So we're going to hurt Hollywood even more, yeah.
He's admitting that's what he's going to do.
Yes. Ask what Paramount...
You dumbasses. What the fuck? Sorry for swearing, but do you think is going to happen here? Because you're going to lose everything.
Yeah, he said, asked what Paramount could actually do to satisfy him. This is the Attorney General. He said promises don't count, only structural remedies. That's lawyers speak for selling things off, a divestiture, a breakup. So probably, you get rid of CBS or you promise not to take CNN and we'll let it go through.
Yeah, well, that's, you sell off CNN to somebody who we like.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that is interesting, though. Zaslav promised 20 movies in 2024, and they had 9. So why believe Ellison's 30? They're going to say whatever they have to say. You're still better off with the Ellisons than you would have been with Netflix. Because Netflix will...
if you're talking movies and stuff, yes, you're better off.
Yep. Sold Off in Pieces is a real alternative. Yeah. So we're talking about MGM. Before the Ellison's $30 per share offer, Warner Brothers had already spent months preparing to split itself into 2 companies.
Yes.
So Pieces could be sold separately. Yep.
Yes. We talked about that many times.
Perpuck's Matt Bellany, CEO David Zaslav spent lawsuit week hitting Wimbledon and Sun Valley and cashed another $59 million of his own stock. Oh boy. The day the state sued. The states kill the deal. The fallback is not a healthy independent Warner Brothers. The fallback is the breakup, damaged stock, and seller shopping the parts to buyers who don't want a studio, they want a library.
Yep, and MGM jobs for you.
Nope, MGM was once the mightiest studio in Hollywood. Today, it's a label inside Amazon, the streamer. Yeah, that's exactly what this stuff becomes. And again, Warner Brothers, most of these studios have not been truly independent since the 50s or 60s. They've had one owner or another over the years. Paramount has, Warner Brothers has. Disney almost got sold in the early 80s, but Michael Eisner turned the ship around.
Well, what they're saying is, MGM became a label inside Amazon. That's what would happen if Netflix bought it.
Yeah, it'd just be here's the Warner Brothers library, here's the Cartoon Network library, and we might occasionally produce stuff with the Cartoon Network label on it if it's animation, but it's not its own company.
Oh, and your price went up $5 a month because you have access to this new library.
Right. Yeah, and that's exactly it. And this happens all the time. That's what mergers and acquisitions are about.
What about the theaters? They don't care.
Warner Brothers did it. Yeah, no, they don't give a shit about theaters. They're going to say whatever they have to say to get through, but they don't give a shit. Warner Brothers did this with a whole bunch of stuff they bought. They bought a whole bunch of web stuff from Otter Media, full screen and Rooster Teeth and all that stuff. And eventually it just all became like a tab, or they sold it back. Like Rooster Teeth, they actually sold it back because it wasn't worth anything. They sold it back to Bernie Burns. I don't know what he's doing with it now, but they took Ruby and they sold it to was it Crunchyroll or Funimation? One of those, yeah.
We did a video on it at one point.
Yeah, but they've been doing this. They've been doing this for years. They were just kind of piecemeal, and that would continue, except on a much bigger level. So there is no scenario in which things stay the same. So pick your poison, I guess. I don't know. We gonna wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Now funding on Kickstarter, a brand new set of Halloween mask pins, vintage style pins designed by me, Kneon. Check it out at halloween.ninja. That's halloween.ninja.